woman bangs frantically on a door while shouting a name over and over. A young girl is sitting in her room, upset. She finally puts a copper earpiece in her ear. The next day she meets with Sharon, her therapist. Aisha, a high school student, has spent years dealing with optic nerve spasms, a constant discomfort that gets triggered by specific events. No matter how normal things seem from the outside, something inside her never feels quite right. Sharon asks her what set it off this time. In a future where tech has reached unthinkable limits, a teen girl begins to question all she thought she knew about her identity, her family, and her own humanity. What looked like a normal high school life quickly becomes a desperate race to uncover the truth, escape total control, and face those who want her gone. With twists, dark secrets, and a disturbing tech backdrop, this tale dives into an emotional clash between the artificial and the real. So today we'll see Don't Look Deeper. One morning unfolds like any other. Aisha gets ready and heads to school with her best friend, Carrie. At school, she sees a service robot being taken apart. She then runs into Levi, her boyfriend and classmate. They chat about their weekend. In physics class, the topic of semantics arises, the study of how vibrations and sound frequencies create patterns. But when the sonic demos begin, Aisha gets overwhelmed. She covers her ears and tries to flee, but falls. "Oh, Aisha," someone says. As she tells Sharon this in the present, her therapist assures her there's nothing to be ashamed of, since she has an incurable illness. She then asks if she wants to start treatment, and Aisha agrees. That night, Carrie mentions an upcoming party and encourages her to go with Levi. Aisha takes her meds and talks to her dad. She tells him she'll be at Carrie's to study, and he agrees. "Yeah, that's fine. Heard from Razi?" Aisha goes to find Levi, only to discover something shocking. He's in a private room using a service bot for pleasure. She confronts him, then storms off, disgusted. At the party, Aisha starts drinking and ends up dancing with Caleb, another student. Things escalate quickly and she takes him to a room intending to sleep with him. But right before anything happens, Levi shows up and asks to talk. He confesses he was testing a new bot software and apologizes for what she saw. He repeats that he didn't think it would work, then insists it meant nothing. Aisha replies that to her, it did. Still angry and hurt, she breaks up with him right there. "You were supposed to be my boyfriend, and now you're not." After talking to him, drunk and disoriented, she stumbles into the bathroom. She can barely walk from how drunk she is. She trips and falls, accidentally breaking a glass bottle she was holding. A shard slices her forearm. She winces, pulls the glass out, and freezes. Where she expected blood, she sees something completely different. Instead of veins, there are wires. She looks in the mirror, stunned, then grabs one of the shards and bites down on a towel. She slices deep into her arm, which opens wide. Inside is a mess of glowing wires. Then a high-pitched noise pierces Aisha's ears. Instinctively, she grabs tweezers and sticks them into her ear canal. To her horror, she pulls out a long, thin, unnatural metallic wire. The shock is too much. Her body trembles, breath shortens, and she faints. In the morning, she wakes in bed with a knife beside her. Things are far from normal. Her body is covered in wounds, but there's no blood. There's a hole in her abdomen, and instead of flesh and blood, she sees wires, blinking lights, and circuits. Just then, her dad knocks to say he's going out. She tries to call him, but her voice is too weak, and he doesn't hear her. Terrified, she gathers herself, gets dressed, and goes to school, trying to act normal. When she arrives, Carrie is surprised to see her. She greets her and asks where she was last night and what happened in the bathroom. It's covered in blood. Aisha doesn't answer and gives a vague reply. She was super drunk. I was, really messed up. When Carrie presses, Aisha says she had her usual trigger and had to leave. As they talk, Levi watches Aisha from the door. Seeing this, Carrie asks if last night was about Levi. She assumes Aisha was self-harming because of the breakup. Look, I was drunk. I fell, Aisha says, brushing her off and rushing to the bathroom to check her arm. While inspecting the wound, she finds a small metal device embedded under the skin with a serial number. Before she can examine it further, Jenny, a classmate, sees the exposed tech and freezes in shock. She asks what's going on, but Aisha stays quiet and tries to leave. Despite Jenny's insistence, Aisha shoves her away and walks off. "Don't touch me." Jenny, still wanting answers, lets her go. Aisha finds William, a robotic assistant from the university division, and asks if they can talk. She tries to take him somewhere private, but he can't break geo-lock limits. Plus, class starts in 2 minutes. Ignoring that, she drags him to a storage room and switches him to private mode. She shows him the serial number and asks what it means. He scans it briefly and says it's her haptic sensory system, sourced from multivariable subspace learning. She asks if he has it too, but he won't answer, citing policy limits. "I can't provide that information." "No, I just want to know," says Aisha. She insists, but William warns her that if she continues, he'll switch to public mode and report the incident. Confused and terrified, Aisha turns to the one person she's always trusted, Sharon. Sharon asks if she was self-harming, but Aisha insists she was only trying to learn more about herself. She then tells her everything and shows what she found. It's everywhere. Sharon is stunned, but not by the discovery, rather that Aisha figured it out. Sharon tries to calm her. When Aisha realizes Sharon already knew, she panics even more. She asks if her father knows too. Sharon hugs her to soothe her. They do breathing exercises, and eventually Aisha relaxes. Then Sharon speaks a strange command to put her into sleep mode. Aisha shuts down immediately, emotionless. Sharon pulls out a device, connects it to Aisha's neck, and starts erasing her recent memories. Days after finishing, Sharon calls someone and says Aisha has figured it out again. After this, Aisha dreams she's sitting with her pet, Picasso. While talking to him, she suddenly stabs him and pulls something out. Aisha wakes up abruptly the next day, shocked to find her body is completely healed. No wounds, no wires, nothing. Everything feels like a strange dream. Relieved, she gets ready and heads to school, hoping to return to normal. While in the kitchen, her father joins her. She tells him about her dreams and he asks if she's feeling okay now. She confirms she is and says she'll stay at Carrie's on Saturday and go out with her on Sunday. Her father reluctantly gives permission but asks her to save time for him that day. "Only if we order Chinese, okay? See you tonight." When she gets to school, things aren't quite right. When she tries to talk to Carrie, her best friend acts cold and upset. Carrie accuses her of trying to hook up with Caleb, someone she secretly liked. Aisha is confused. She doesn't remember any of that. Carrie walks away, and Aisha asks what happened, but she only says, "Nothing." Later, in physics lab, Jenny approaches her. There's tension in the air. Jenny asks how she's feeling, but her tone suggests something deeper. Then she asks if Aisha always knew, but Aisha doesn't get what she means. She shrugs, still unsure why everyone's acting so strange. Jenny then lifts her sleeve to see the wound she saw the day before, but it's gone. Amazed, she starts talking about tech designed to heal tissue. Aisha tells her to back off, to stop. Then Jenny pulls out a small device that emits a high-frequency sound. She apologizes for what she's about to do and activates the machine. The noise overwhelms Aisha, sending her into panic and dizziness. Jenny calmly notes that only machines can hear that frequency. "You're one of them." Shocked, Aisha runs out of the lab. Outside, she finds William, the university's service robot. He mentions she seems to be in the same stress state as yesterday. She asks if they spoke the day before. William confirms they had an 11-minute conversation. Aisha, who remembers nothing, insists on knowing more. But since she put him in private mode, she needs to authorize access. To access that convo, you must authorize and accept. So she takes him aside and grants permission. Then he asks for permission to ask a question, which Aisha allows. After a quick scan, William explains her memory unit was wiped 18 hours ago. He asks if she wants him to restore the data, and Aisha agrees. With her authorization, William retrieves the lost information. Suddenly, it all comes together. She remembers everything: her fight with Levi, the discovery, the wounds. The truth hits hard. She's not human. Overwhelmed, she runs again, soon reaching the edge of the city. She tries to cross but finds she can't. Meanwhile, elsewhere, a new figure is introduced: Noah, the CEO of a powerful tech firm called RIM Technologies. Surrounded by people, Noah oversees a groundbreaking experiment. He presents new nanobot tech to be inserted into a deaf woman to cure her hearing. The woman sits quietly as a special liquid with nanobots is placed in her ear. Moments later, she hears for the first time ever. Emotion floods her face, and the crowd watching erupts in applause. Noah, calm and composed, watches with silent pride. Amid this, a man named Ronaldo pulls him aside and asks if he knows anything about Merced, California. Noah says he doesn't. Hearing this, Ronaldo tells him they have a serious problem. Elsewhere, Aisha finds Levi and demands the robotic codes he once used to bypass intimacy rules. Though hesitant at first, Levi finally hands them over. Wasting no time, Aisha goes to the school library. She starts reading various articles to learn exactly what to do. Then she uploads the code into her system using a school computer. Instantly, her body gains new abilities: advanced cognition, instant data processing, even telepathic access to others' thoughts. "I swear, Bobby, if he even looked at the librarian," someone says. The librarian asks if she's okay, and Aisha says she needs to go to the restroom. She rushes there, saying she's having menstrual cramps. While there, she manages to deactivate them. Look who can turn off her period cramps. Elsewhere, Noah and Ronaldo keep talking. Ronaldo tells him a unit in Merced has had its intimacy limits removed. Ronaldo offers to handle it, but Noah says he'll send his brother Caleb instead. Aisha walks out into the street. At first, she's thrilled. She easily recognizes strangers by name and pulls data from their minds. But the data storm is too much. Her system overloads and crashes on the spot. At the same time, Noah gives Caleb the details. Ronaldo hands him a weapon, warning to keep it away from kids. When Aisha wakes, she's lying in the street. A woman tries to help her as she lies there. Soon after, her father, Martin, arrives to pick her up. The woman suggests taking her to the hospital, but Martin refuses. When Aisha asks to go, saying she might have a concussion, he dismisses it and puts her in the car. "Let's go home, okay? You probably just have low blood sugar or something." At home, he tells her to rest, while he stays in the car to call Sharon. Suspicious, Aisha activates enhanced hearing and secretly listens in. What she hears is disturbing. Martin knows everything. He always has. He knows she's not human. After the call, Martin heads to Sharon's house. Aisha enters her room and takes her medicine, but notices something odd. She opens the capsule and finds a strange liquid inside. Martin arrives at Sharon's and insists they need to tell her, but Sharon says that if Aisha finds out, others will too, and it won't be good for her. They argue about it, but eventually Sharon kisses Martin and they give in to the moment. Meanwhile, Aisha searches her father's room. She finds a hidden tablet and uncovers surveillance records. Martin has been monitoring her emotions, thoughts, and even facial expressions. As she processes the shock, the story flashes back 4 years earlier, in Dallas, during a public event. Martin sees Aisha for the first time. He approaches her and asks what she's doing there. She says she's with her mom, Sharon. He notices she's playing Go and asks to join. He warns her he played in college but ends up losing. As they play, Sharon comes over. Aisha introduces them. Another day, Sharon and Martin meet again. They talk about Aisha. Sharon tells him she's homeschooled, and he suggests sending her to a real school. Over time, Sharon and Martin developed a romantic relationship. Both still mourned the loss of their spouses, both trying to fill a void. Martin opened up and told Sharon he lost his daughter, Cynthia, to salmonella. He divorced soon after. Now, seeing Aisha, he feels reminded of her. He sees something familiar in her. As she grew closer to Martin, Sharon kept one crucial truth hidden. Aisha wasn't human. One day, Martin picked her up from school for a spontaneous drive. He didn't know she had built-in geographic limits. When they crossed an invisible boundary, Aisha's system began to fail. Alarms inside her activated, triggering erratic behavior that forced Martin to stop the car. "Stop! Just stop!" At the same time, Sharon called, begging him to stop the car immediately. She arrived soon after, used a secret command to shut Aisha down, and finally told Martin the truth. She confessed Aisha was an artificial being created in secret for her own protection. 2 months later, Sharon met with Martin again. She said Aisha missed him and needed a father. Sharon had wiped Aisha's memories of her origin and reintroduced herself in a new role, her therapist. Back in the present, Aisha confronts Martin, demanding the truth. He finally admits she was created as part of a confidential project and that Sharon wrote her original code. Aisha asks if her mother knows, but then realizes she has no mother. It was all a lie. Martin reveals the real reason they hid everything. Powerful forces known as the Rams are hunting her. They can shut you down. Armed with this knowledge, Aisha decides she's tired of being controlled. She confronts Sharon and demands all surveillance and control systems in her body be deactivated. Sharon says the system was made to protect her. Aisha, furious, brings up all the lies, including the memory wipes, the fake story about a dead mother, and everything else. She demands again that Sharon shut it all off, but Sharon hesitates. Then Aisha shows her a video of herself revealing everything about her identity, ready to go public. She warns that unless Sharon logs in every 5 minutes, the video will upload automatically. Cornered, Sharon agrees. She then disables everything, just as Aisha asked. Whatever the blank I want? For the first time, Aisha is truly free. No more monitoring, no more commands, just her and whatever comes next. She changes her look and returns to school, but something in her has shifted. She's colder now, distant. She avoids talk and walks the halls like a stranger among familiar faces. Emma, the other service bot, approaches and says she filed a report about what happened with Levi. Aisha asks Emma to sit with her. When she invites her to eat, Emma says she doesn't eat. Then she comments on how human Aisha seems. But when Aisha asks how she knows that, Emma replies, "Your mic is exposed." Meanwhile, Sharon recalls the past. 5 years ago, she introduced Aisha to RIM Technologies. But Noah, seeing how advanced and uncontrollable she was, rejected the project. He claimed beings like Aisha couldn't be regulated and ordered termination. In the present, while walking the campus, Aisha notices something strange. Abel, Noah's brother, is driving a school bot toward the exit gates. Though the bot reaches its geo limit, Abel overrides it. Perimeter limit breached. Admin code, full restriction override. Once out of sight, he shuts down the bot and loads it into his truck. Realizing she could be next, Aisha sneaks away before being seen. Soon after, Jenny catches up to her with alarming news. Aisha has a tracker implanted in her foot. An old-school radio frequency tracker in your foot. Abel then accesses William's database. He tries to retrieve data on Aisha, but William says the session was private. However, Abel bypasses the lock. He then finds Aisha's serial number. Back with Jenny and Aisha, they manage to extract the tracker. Aisha asks how she knows how to do that. Jenny admits she used that very tracker to find her. She explains she's been investigating RIM Technologies for a while and believes they need a solid plan to avoid capture. Aisha asks why she's risking so much to help. Jenny hesitates before revealing something personal. They were close once, but memory wipes made Aisha forget. "You changed." Determined to reclaim her freedom, Aisha returns home and packs her things. Martin tries to stop her, but she's still angry. She insists on leaving, and he hugs her tightly as she goes. "Just come back to me, okay? Just tell me you'll come back." Aisha joins Jenny and they go to Levi for help. They ask him to drive them to Canada, hoping to confront Noah and prove Aisha deserves to live. Meanwhile, Abel quietly approaches Carrie. He takes her phone and injects her with a strange fluid. During the trip, Levi, still unaware of Aisha's true nature, makes casual remarks about robots. His words sting, and Aisha orders him to stop. Abel then shows up at Martin's home and confronts both him and Sharon. Martin introduces himself as Aisha's father, not knowing Abel already knows the truth. After a long day on the road, Levi, Jenny, and Aisha stop at a rundown motel to rest. Tension hangs in the air, but the journey is far from over. The next morning, as Levi steps out to get coffee, Aisha turns to Jenny with a serious request. She wants full access to all her erased memories, from the beginning. Jenny agrees, and as the data recovery begins, Aisha's mind starts unlocking everything that was ever buried. She remembers the moment she met Jenny 3 years ago. What started as a friendship soon grew into something deeper. The two fell in love. Aisha became so emotionally attached that she'd stand outside Jenny's window at midnight just to be near her. It was a kind of obsessive attachment Aisha's creators never anticipated. Obsessive. When Martin and Sharon discovered how intense her emotions were, they panicked, believing she wasn't ready to process love or obsession. They chose to erase her memories. The next day at school, Aisha acted like Jenny was a stranger. She approached Carrie instead, leaving Jenny heartbroken and forgotten. More memories return. Aisha recalls how Noah and Abel rejected her, deeming her unfit for public existence. They confined her to a storage room in the basement. One day, Sharon came back for Aisha, alone. She rescued her from the company and vanished, leaving Callan behind. That escape marked the beginning of everything that followed. Her hidden life, her altered memories, and the fragile illusion of being human. Flooded with memories of love, betrayal, and abandonment, Aisha can't bear the weight of it all. She runs from the motel, desperate for air, desperate for space. Back at the motel, Jenny realizes Aisha is gone. She quickly wakes Levi and, for the first time, tells him the truth. Aisha isn't human. Levi is stunned. He feels betrayed, unsure if any part of their relationship was real. But Jenny clarifies Aisha didn't know either, at least not until recently. She didn't know she was a robot. Easy for you to say, huh? But Aisha doesn't get far. Her energy drops and her system starts slowing down. She collapses by the roadside. While sitting there, Aisha unlocks another memory. During her time in storage, she wasn't alone. Sharon had created another AI, Callan, her brother. The two shared a strong bond and vowed to always stay together. Levi and Jenny follow a faint signal and eventually find her slumped on the ground, barely conscious. They help connect her to a power source and leave her to recharge. But while they're gone, Abel quietly approaches. Using his weapon, he shuts Aisha down and takes her from the roadside without a sound. He drives her to RY headquarters, ready to hand her over. But Aisha, regaining partial consciousness, begs him for one thing: to let her see Callan. Abel hesitates, then agrees. He brings her to the basement and reactivates Callan, her long-lost brother. The two embrace, a quiet joy in the chaos. Aisha, Callan, you came back. Noah appears moments later and shuts Callan down without a word. He then escorts Aisha to his office, where Martin and Sharon already wait. Noah makes his final decision. Aisha will be permanently deactivated. I raised her, Martin says. You raised her, replies Sharon. They both beg him not to do it, insisting Aisha isn't like other AIs. She thinks, feels, questions her own existence. But Noah remains unmoved. He sees her as a glitch in the system, Something dangerous, unpredictable, and unnatural. His words hang in the air, but the decision is made. Overwhelmed by pain and rage, Aisha explodes. She storms out of Noah's office, refusing to let others decide her fate. Her only goal is to reach Callan and escape together, but she doesn't get the chance. Noah triggers the termination sequence remotely. Her systems start shutting down one by one. Ability disabled. Tactile recognition disabled. She collapses in the hallway, her body failing. Martin arrives just in time, holding her in his arms as her energy fades. He cries uncontrollably, unable to stop what's happening. Her lights go out, her voice fades, and then, nothing. Later, Aisha and Callan's bodies are taken to a disposal chamber. A grinding machine reduces them to metal fragments and dust. Afterward, Martin and Sharon leave the facility, visibly broken. Martin asks if there's a backup copy to restore her, but Sharon says there's no body to put it in. As they walk home, they pass Jenny and Levi. The moment they hear the news, both break down, unable to believe Aisha is truly gone. The next day at school, Jenny and Levi run into William, the robotic assistant. He casually mentions that Aisha has missed 3 scheduled sessions with him. Curious and clinging to hope, they ask for more information. William pauses and explains that Aisha's files are encrypted and password protected. Password protected partition. Quickly, Jenny pulls Aisha's old journal from her backpack and searches through the scribbled codes inside. One of them works. Suddenly, William's system flickers, and Aisha's voice returns. She's now alive within his body. "Guys, it's me." Aisha had secretly uploaded a backup of her consciousness into William's database as an emergency plan in case something went wrong. Her foresight saved her. Now, though in a different form, she's still alive. She speaks through William's body. Jenny and Levi are overwhelmed with joy. They rush to embrace her, tears turning to smiles as they realize their friend isn't truly gone. Meanwhile, Martin receives an unexpected voice message. It's Aisha. Her tone is calm, hopeful. She tells him she's still out there and promises to return once she finds a new body that feels right. "I'm looking for it. I'll come back to you. I never left." Elsewhere, in a high-security lab, synthetic human bodies are being developed. Among them is one that looks hauntingly familiar. A nearly perfect replica of Aisha, waiting in silence.